Welcome to the Tush Twins,
Yeah,
which actually now is the Tush Twin,
yeah,
brought to you on malcolmpresents.com.
yep.
Now, we only have one Tush now.
One Tush is here. The other Tush, the redhead. Well, actually, Malcolm, you're going to be you're going to be the man Tush today, so, because the redhead had surgery today.
Yeah, but
She's okay.
it's elective. Don't frighten people.
It's elective, little nip and tuck. Wasn't that a show, Nip and Tuck?
Nip and tuck.
And
Actually, there is a show that's.
Yeah, they did. They have all sorts of shows and all these,
Mm.
various reality stuff.
But with the redhead, it's gonna be above the neck.
Above the neck. It's above the neck. Yeah, just a little.
So we're not having any implants. We're not even having a tush tuck.
No tush tuck. No, that wouldn't go well with Tush Twins.
No
tush tucks. We don't.
And no implants.
We don't need to have additional booty things in there. We could. I shaking the booty with that. I think we're okay in that area.
Is tush a Yiddish word? Tushy.
Tuchis. Yeah, it's from
Tuchis.
Tushy. Tuchis is a Yiddish word for tush, for butt.
And that's sort of almost like universal now.
Pretty much.
If you send anybody tush, they know what it is.
They know it's probably the most used Yiddish word, I'd say, across the boards.
Yeah.
Right, and versus schmuck, which is the other side, but of a guy's other side, I should say. So yeah, it's so you're holding up are you holding up your end of the tush today? Is what
I'm holding. Well, the funny thing is that though you're far younger than me, and you did
far younger,
and you did things that women do, but all the places that you went, or the two main places that you went, I lived at. Where you're talking about going down to Greenwich Village.
Right?
I lived in Greenwich Village for about a year. And you're talking about the Upper West Side. I lived on the Upper West Side.
Right.
For about 5 years.
Spent many, in the village. Not only, did I go, my mom would take me on like once in a while, she'd say, "You're not going to school today." And I go, "What are we doing?" She goes, "You're going to have an education outside of school today. We're going to go have lunch and we're going to walk around the village and we're going to go into shops and we're going to explore things, or we'll go to a museum, or we'll do something." When I was in the lower grades, she didn't do that when I was bigger, but first, second.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an avant-garde mother.
Mom was a very avant-garde, and she knew there was more to education than just sitting in a classroom saying, 2 + 2 + 2 + 2. And because there's another side of education that, if you don't give your kids a little of that or a lot of that, they're not a whole unique person, a whole person. You need to bring in other things, It's good for your mental health.
Where did she take you in the village, or where did she take you in New York?
She would,
or Manhattan.
We would go to, in Brooklyn, we'd go to the Brooklyn Museum or the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. In the city, we would just get off at West 8th Street, and we'd just walk around the village. We'd go Washington Square, we'd walk around. There were little antique stores, there were floral, flower stores. There were, unique shops at the time. This was the 60s, and then we'd eat lunch, we'd pick a spot, whatever it was, and we just walk in, it didn't matter, so, it was really cool to be able to do that. And there was this one shop that I remember had this wooden African xylophone, which I wanted, and it was like a few $100s and couldn't afford it and I always went in there when we went, to the village, and then one day it was gone. Somebody bought it and I was crushed, there goes my xylophone. But when Mitch and the Tokens got a vibraphone and had it in the house for many years, I was able to play it, but it just wasn't the same tone as this wooden, xylophone. It was, I guess the whole, going in there, being with my mom, playing it, listening in this little shop was something that was, unique to me. And I liked it. It was just something that I loved. So
So you could play the xylophone without taking lessons? Just,
you don't really need lessons. You just need to know the notes. And it's kind of like, if you can play piano, 9 out of 10, you can play the xylophone.
uh-huh.
I played it a couple of times in school because they asked, they knew I had one. And my friend and I literally pushed it across the street to Lincoln High School twice. More than twice, because I played it once in sing for sophomore sing. And then I played it for this other course thing we were doing. And then I said, I'm not doing it anymore because I'm not schlepping it across the street. It's a pain in the ass. But had to go schlep it across the bridle path to Ocean. I was right across from Lincoln High School. See, Lincoln High School's address, which I didn't realize until recently, is 2800 Ocean Parkway. My address was 2801 Ocean Parkway.
Right.
So
You were literally almost next door.
and when I wanted to go to Dewey High School, the experimental high school, my parents went, you see the school across the street? That's where you're going. The Upper West Side I would go to with Tush Twin, the redhead, for her music lessons, her voice lessons. And we'd go to Gray's Papaya on 72nd Street for a quick dog and a papaya drink.
Right, yeah, I know that place. That was right on the corner of 72nd and Broadway.
Right, so they used to have 2 dogs and a papaya drink for like some ridiculously low price. So we'd get the 2 hot dogs, we'd have the papaya drink, and then we'd buy 1 extra papaya drink. And so that was like lunch. And and then of course there were whatever pizza places were around or whatever. And then we'd go from there to the Village sometimes, that. So the Upper West Side was part of our little routine. So that was cool.
Yeah, to me, that's I mentioned before, I was living on 90th and Central Park West.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the people there. It was fantastic, integrated neighborhood. And I was across the street, Central Park. So I came home from work or before work, I would just cross the street and I'd be running in Central Park Reservoir around the track, which I think was like 1.3 miles around. Or on the weekend, I'd go to the road. They had the roads closed. So it was a 6-mile run. So it was great.
That's a nice run.
And in the park, there's certain areas you cannot see the city. You cannot see the big buildings. So you're into your own world.
Right. My son lives 2 blocks from the park, and he runs and bikes in the park quite a lot. And he goes to all the various places that you're talking about that, you can actually hear waterfall, and you can, actually, the ramble, he goes the pond, he knows that park so well now. And he's, he runs it, he does the reservoir sometimes, but sometimes he'll just run. He has his own little way, and then he'll come back and just run on Central Park West just to run back, so he won't, if it's too dark, he won't run at night. He'll run along Central Park West, which is to me a little safer, on there. But
yeah, but as long as he runs on the streets on the west side of the street versus the east side of the street where the park is.
Right. So that's what he does. I don't know his total. He does it with his watch. He does it with his this and all this technical stuff. I mean, geez, just run.
But it was beautiful when I sometimes came home at night, like 9-10 o'clock at night, and felt like running. I'd run the reservoir
at night by yourself.
At night by myself. I figure I'm wearing who's here. I have no jewelry. Who they're gonna. I don't think they want to rape a guy. Who knows? Maybe they would.
Now,
but anyway, yeah.
Wouldn't shock
I had no pockets. I wasn't carrying money. They knew. So, but I'd run around the reservoir, and the reflection of the lights in the reservoir on the water were beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything was completely dark, and you saw the lights in the reservoir and the dim lights of the park.
Right. I mean, I walked there when Sparkles, my cutie poodle, was a little pup. We'd visit my son, and we'd walk. This was during the height of the pandemic. We'd go to Central Park everyone wearing masks outside. I was a little nervous because everyone was going to the park, because you would just hold up in your house, your apartment, your little one bedroom, that you're spending a fortune on, and you can't go anywhere. You just, it's lockdown. And you could just see everyone feeling like a slight relief to be in Central Park, because it's beautiful. But then at the same time, it's like, should I be like more than 6 feet from you? It was a little dicey, and that's something that is lingering right now. I don't know how long this is going to last, but people's heads are, the people are feeling pretty, there's a lot of mental stress with this pandemic, and a lot of people need to make sure they're okay, because
Yeah, I think hopefully as soon as we start getting more and more vaccinated, and then actually after they get over that confusion with the boosters, the
yeah.
booster shot, the third shot, I think it's become a lot better. I mean, I
I
hope.
mean, at this point, I mean, I don't, you have, which shot do you have? I have Moderna.
I have Moderna also.
Right. So there's nothing out with the third shot there yet, although there's reports that has more, you get more immunity with this shot.
Right. Supposedly we're
know.
96%
Something, I don't know.
shot proof, but that we won't get the coronavirus. But I don't know. What's funny, I don't know about you. I'm past that age of 65. Of course, you can't tell.
I am. I know.
But the thing is,
looking good, Malcolm. Not a day over 60.
Yeah.
There you go.
But when they talk about seniors and they advise it for seniors and older people, initially it doesn't register in me.
Mhm.
They're not talking about me. And then all
Right.
of a sudden I say, hell, they are talking about me.
Right. Me too, actually. I mean, I just had a birthday, and yeah, I'm in that group. And I don't think I'm in that group.
You're right.
I feel like you, and we feel definitely younger than we are. My shoulder and knees don't feel that way, but the rest of me does, so
yeah, it's not when I wake up and I have the arthritis in the shoulders and
yeah, so it's
my
just
back hurts.
yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, people, I was just looking at some stuff about, mental health and the pandemic, and of all places, an article in nature.com stated that more than 42% of people surveyed by the US Census Bureau in December of 2020 reported symptoms of anxiety or depression. And that was an increase of 11% from the year before. So other surveys suggest that the picture is similar worldwide. It's called COVID's mental stress. And yeah, the psychologists are saying, they don't think this is going to go back to baseline anytime soon. So there's a lot that people need to know about it, and a lot of people are facing it, and a lot of people were alone, and there's ways to combat it. I mean, honestly, being able to do podcasts with you definitely helped me. I mean, I was able to talk to you, I was able to see you, talking to my friends. Of course, Zoom was able to help people get more together. But, I was, sitting in my house writing some songs, right? Of course. And one of them I keep saying is I was looking at my plans for like, half hour at a time. I wrote a song about that. My sleep was pretty off, still is a little bit. Wrote a song, Can't Sleep at Night. I think I'm gonna just write some more pandemic tunes. Where's my head now? I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's gonna be, I figure in 10 years from now, if we're around, you're gonna find so many shows, musicals, plays, studies about this era. What it did to people, how things changed, how the world changed. If of course we're still around because of
climate change.
Climate change.
It's
when I get these
bulletins. I get bulletins on my phone from the weather channels, whatever. And of course, I get one today saying it could be a tornado warning tomorrow in New York City, and I'm like, and when I told you, you went, what?
In New York City. Yeah.
Tornado warnings in New York City, like, what the hell is that about? And flash flooding, and it's like we're writing ourselves into a disaster film, that just never ends. It seems like it's like the never-ending, disaster movie. I wouldn't want to go to a disaster film right now for anything, because I feel like we're living in it.
We're living in it.
We're living in just really nutty times, and especially the United States. You would think things would be better, but it seems like the minority is ruling the majority, and that has to stop.
Yeah, that's
It's a problem.
you should listen to the show that I have with your brother.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to. Should I be afraid? That's my question. Be afraid.
Be afraid.
Be very afraid.
Well, listen to the shows that I do with you and the Many Shades of Green.
Yeah, that would be
that could be a sci-fi show, a sci-fi movie of what's happening in the future.
Yeah, I know. Between plastic pollution, pesticide pollution, population problems.
That's what we're doing tomorrow. The population.
We're going to have a guest
just
on.
To me, the major thing is the climate change, and the Earth, the planet's not going to be inhabitable by human beings.
Right. It doesn't need us, by the way.
Of course.
It'll be Mother Nature will be probably doing a dance at this point, because she's like pissed off, beyond belief. It's
like that reminds me of the old joke about the not even an old joke. There's a study that when men lose their wives, after many years of marriage, they tend to get married within a few years. Why? Because they don't know how to do anything. The women did things, the women did I guess this is more towards the old world, but the women did the cooking, the women took care of the house, took care of the cleaning, took care of the bills, the husband worked, paid everything.
Right.
So he didn't know what to do. He has to have a wife.
Right.
When the husband dies, the wife says, oh, thank God I don't have to take care of him anymore.
I don't.
But that's like
I'm not looking for that. But
that's like Mother Earth saying, "Oh, I'm glad we're rid of them." Mankind in general.
Exactly, because whatever we can do to f things up, we're doing.
And the Earth existed millions of years before man came on.
Exactly.
And it will exist millions of years after.
It certainly will. And
but I don't know if we're going to come up again. So there'll be a postscript when man comes back again.
It's possible. I mean, I know, it might be Walt Disney. He's been cryogenically frozen, and I think Hank Williams also. So maybe you need a woman though to bring everything back. Man cannot asexually reproduce, or so. But will the sperm banks and the egg banks will be around? Maybe someone will figure out the 2 and 2. I don't know. I mean, if you think about, what can possibly happen, and if we keep up what we're doing and not solving these issues and not getting the, governments and corporations to, step up to the plate, as well as people. I mean, I know next week there's a bunch of women's marches planned for all over the country. I think mostly in response to the abortion question in Texas. And now apparently Texas is now bringing up a bill about homosexuality as well. I can't imagine what is in there. So I mean, just what are we doing to the planet? Like, what are we doing?
Well, I want to see where Governor Abbott does, it was last week where he said in a news conference, I asked him about, don't you think it's bad with women who are raped? They said, yeah, but we're not going to have rape anymore.
Right.
I want to see him do away with rape. Then I'll vote for him.
Right.
If he could do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. And I did see a flying pig out my window. So maybe, I just,
yeah. But that's those meds you've been taking.
Yeah. No, I stay off the mushrooms. The only mushrooms I like are the ones, I could chop up and fry up with some onions and garlic and a little
No, actually,
lime.
I just started taking this, the gummy bear. It
Gummy
hasn't
bear,
worked because I want to do it for my shoulders and my back.
gummy bear what?
The
CD,
CBD.
CBD, yeah, it didn't kick in.
No, and it has a little bit of THC, which is
Does it? Where'd you get that? At the local
at the local
shop?
dispensary. Yeah.
Your local dispensary. Yeah, there's some stores cropping up now because New York, recently, passed that marijuana recreational is legal, and
Yeah.
so now every town has to come up with a plan about it. And there's, this town next to me is a bigger town, and I think they're gonna have more things, but it's a thing.
I think I told this story a number of years ago. I have a bad back and my arthritis in the shoulder, so I asked my doctor. This is when medical marijuana was recommended, or not recommended, but medical marijuana was legal. I said, "What do you think? Should I try medical marijuana?" And he says, "I don't know. You can try it and see. I can't recommend it, and I don't know the effects." So I got a prescription for it. I thought it'd be difficult. You had to go to, couldn't get it from a regular doctor. You had to go to a special, there was a storefront. I go in there and there's a doctor. I see he has a diploma on the wall, and I thought he'd, give me a physical. I go and I say, yes, I want some prescription for medical marijuana. He said, why? I said, I have a bad back. He said, okay. Gave me a prescription, said $45.
That was it. That was the whole thing, huh?
Yeah,
Nothing else needed.
Nothing else needed. But then I went to the store, which again, as a youth, I have to admit that I have partaken in, smoking a joint or two.
Mm-hmm. As we all have.
Yeah, and there you go, and there's a counter with all the different blends of marijuana. I was totally confused. So I go up to there was a young lady there, except very attractive young lady, but which I didn't like. She was all tattooed. But anyway, so she said, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, I've done it as a youth, but I haven't, smoked anything for 20 years. What would you recommend?" And she said, "Well, take something in a lower dosage." And I said, "Fine." And they roll the joints for you.
Get out.
You don't even have to. You can buy it by the joint. You don't have to
right
roll it yourself. So I go home, and a week later, I was talking to my wife, for watching TV, and the kids weren't home; they were in college. And I said, "Okay, I think I'll try that." And she doesn't smoke at all.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't even want to. So I take 3 tokes of the joint, and then I had to get up to go to the bathroom. I could not get up.
Really?
I mean, I had no balance.
Yeah.
I had her help me walk to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's really like so much stronger than I remember when I was like in college and high school. Not that I a lot did it, but you never got to that point, And yeah, I heard it's really, really strong now. So even a low dose.
Yeah, well, you have to, tell them what you need.
Right.
Or what you can, because there's so many variations. I forget, it's sort of like, if I had to do it now, it's almost like me working the computer. I mean, I don't remember everything that they tell me. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about you when I was doing my shows. Everything went wrong this morning.
Mm-hmm.
With the computer. This went wrong, that went wrong.
Right.
I'm having a problem with now the security, which I had like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't letting me on. It was opening slower. I turned the computer on, turned the computer off, turned the computer on, turned the computer. Finally, it started working again, but I have no idea why.
Yeah, it's just and then you get things, you get emails I got from Apple that you have to immediately do a software update for your phone, your iPad. I didn't do it on my computer. I have to do it, but like immediately, because this crazy hack virus or something that you don't even have to click your phone on. It's I forgot the name of it, but it was all over the news last week.
I think it was Aphrodite.
I don't know what it's called, but
it's an Israeli.
I don't remember the name. I don't know if it's Aphrodite, but it's some name, whatever. And I was like, holy crap, now I have to like, upgrade everything, and make sure that I'm okay with it and hope that the fix worked, So
Yeah,
we
but
shall see.
what it was developed by the Israelis for actually for governments for surveillance. And
Hmm.
what you could do is they could call it as long as they have that, they'll call your number. And if your machine picks up and says, "Hi, this is Maxine, I'm not here," it implants the virus in your phone. From then
Right,
on, they could listen to all your calls. They could access all your things that are in their memory in the phone.
right. I heard that.
And they also can access the camera, so they could see you walking.
Right.
And also,
Wow.
they probably can do that with computers now also. So I know a lot of people who put band-aids over the cameras and the computers and the phones.
Right. I don't, I prefer to do the fix, which I did, and hopefully that'll work. But I can go like, I can go like this, and then I'll go. That's my thumb. You know, it's scary, all the crap out there.
Well,
You
that's
know,
the modern world that you didn't have as kids. By the way, a question: did you and the redhead, did you experiment with drugs at all, with marijuana as a youth?
at parties, if someone passed something around, we'd probably take a toke or two. But we were really actually good kids
Mm, yeah.
in high school, in college as well. I mean, I was had a bunch of friends, and we would have, we'd have parties watching Saturday Night Live because it was just starting, it's like the first 2 years. And my friend's uncle owned Haagen-Dazs.
Ooh.
So he would send over little cups, chocolate, vanilla, whatever. And then some of the guys would get completely wasted and eat almost all of it. Leave nothing for us. And but I was never big on any of that, in all honesty. I just wasn't. I didn't really feel that it did much.
Well, I remember when I first came out to California, and the big thing was that the markets were 24/7. So you
Mhm.
can go to a Ralph's to the 24/7. And sometimes I go, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you want to eat something. You go to, the Ralph, there's a Ralph's in Hollywood. There were lines of kids getting the chocolates and the ice
Right,
cream,
right,
getting the
right.
munchies.
The munchies were a thing. That's what you wanted. You wanted to get any possible cake,
Sweet.
chip, sweets, chocolate, whatever. That was the ice cream, sure. And at all hours of the night,
Right.
I
I
just,
were over 24/7.
right, exactly. So, but we were, I mean, we were pretty good kids considering. I mean, we did know, there were definitely a group that were the druggies, you knew. And then there were the athlete guys, there was it's like you did, in middle school when you go to the first dance, you notice which kids are in what cliques already. And it just follows you throughout life. It doesn't, you've got the nerds, you got the guys who play hacky sack, you got the football dudes, you got the clique of the the in cool kids who,
Well,
how cool are they really? Why are they cool?
yeah. Well,
Who
the thing is,
cares?
also in those days, uh, generally your classes followed you. Like everybody that you went to public school with,
Hmm. Yeah,
1 through 5 and 1 through 6, generally went to the same with junior high school. Now it's middle school, but it was junior high school. And most
right,
of them followed you into high school. It
right,
wasn't where you could choose your own high school. You had to choose a high school from your district.
right. I mean, I
I also
knew,
went to specialty school.
yeah, I never, again, my parents would go, it's across the street,
It's
that's where
across
you're
the street.
going. Even though I wanted to go to John Dewey, which was an experimental high school, which
When you
was,
say experimental, what did they experiment with?
it was a very lax, in terms of schedule. You can like go to class when you want, you can pick classes that you want. It wasn't the typical, you're going to take science in period 1 and blah blah. It's more like, hey, flower children, you can do your thing. And
It sounds like they were stoned all the time.
so probably, I mean, a lot of kids went to Dewey and did fine, but it was not in the cards to me. Your whole family went to Lincoln. You're going to Lincoln. It's like, so Lincoln High it was, and you're a fellow Lincolnite. So yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, I think the older I get, the more people I know I meet that went to Lincoln. I had a show with, Pat Alicia from the American Legion
Mhm.
last week, and he had some guests on that were like commanders in his post. And the guy is talking, Gerald Haber, and he's talking about, oh yeah, and I went to high school. I said, what high school did you go to? So I went to Abraham Lincoln High School. Say, whoa, what year?
Oh wow,
I
that's
keep on
pretty.
meeting people from Lincoln.
I know Lincoln has had some really amazing people who went there, and I didn't know Herbie Mann went there. I know Arthur Miller went
Yeah,
there.
they had that in today's. I'm a member of the Lincoln alumni think.
Right, me too. There was some
Yeah,
people who I
Arthur
didn't
Miller.
even realize,
Yeah, no, that
went
I knew.
there. It was pretty cool to know, but
And every time I see Arthur Miller, I think of Marilyn Monroe.
it's all right. I had a teacher who should have retired many, many years before for honor English in my senior year. And it was the first period class. And sometimes she would look at this kid, Felix, who was sitting in the same seat that apparently Arthur Miller sat in, and she'd call him Arthur.
I think she had.
I think God bless her, but damn, it was like we didn't know what to do. We would just munch on the French fries that our friends went to in the morning
Yeah,
at
you
7:30 in the morning to buy French fries to bring them back to class.
Well, I can picture now if we do the movie,
Right,
where she's looking at the guy, we have the picture of Arthur Miller there.
right, just like up in the thing, right? Yeah,
Right.
it was author. It was like maybe she was saying author. I don't know. It was an English class. We were almost pretty sure she said Arthur, but anyway, that was an interesting class indeed. But by the time you get to your senior year, especially the spring, you don't want to be anywhere. You want to be on the beach. That's where you want to be.
Well, my senior year was unique. I graduated it took me 3.5 years, so I graduated in January.
Okay.
Now my schedule was, we had the morning, there was broken schedules with in Lincoln because there were so many students.
Mhm,
So
right,
I started, I had like
different sessions. Yeah.
one in the morning sessions, 1 through 6. So I had, my English class was at 1, at the first period. That's the one I had to make up. That's the only really class I needed. I had a break at the second period, and the third period I had phys ed. The phys ed I was excused. I had a bad knee.
Really?
After the first
back then?
Yeah. I had, what I had is an Osgood Schlatter of the right knee.
Ooh.
It's a bone didn't calcify.
Oh, okay.
So my bone sticks out.
Oh, ooh.
But it wasn't bad.
Okay. So you didn't
in any event. So at the end of the first period, I could go home.
Oh, wow. That's a trick.
And then I graduated.
Oh my God. I didn't have such luck. I had to go through everything. So
and then I realized, oh my God, I'm in college. And then I realized I had to do work.
Yeah,
high school was easy for me.
Right. Yeah. Well,
anyway, would you believe it? Our time is up.
Is it? It is. Oh yeah, it's definitely up. Well, we can never talk for long, can we?
No, and this is, this is not the long goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye to you.
Okay.
and hopefully
we'll see if we can. We'll see how the Tush Twin 1 is doing later, and
if she doesn't come on, you got to bring a report to us.
Yeah, I'll get some information.
And I got to cut you short because you're making fun that I say a long goodbye.
All right, long goodbye. Catch the show malcolmpresents.com and YouTube and all these fun spots, right?
Right. And actually, I'll see you tomorrow for the Many Shades of
The
Green.
Many Shades of Green tomorrow. We have a guest about population. So
Population. My God.
we'll-
Bye.
all right. Ciao.